Whether you want to call dance a sport or not, whatever, but we are competitive athletes. We train, we try to be the best we can at our sport, and we compete against other schools to try to, again, be the best.
My name's Brittany Hamilton.
And my name's Taylor Payton.
And we're co-captains of the dance team.
We've been a part of the team for our whole undergrad, so this is our 5th of 5 years, and we've been co-captains of the team together for 3 years.
We practice depending on the day, so we have rehearsals Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we have about 17 group numbers this year, so everyone gets 45 minutes, so whenever that kind of fits in with our practice schedules.
I would say to organize everything for the team, it is never ending. It never really stops and never really starts. So even though our season is from September to end of March, kind of, there's even still stuff to do to prepare for the upcoming year in the summer. But the fall is when we really kind of work on, getting our team together, holding auditions, and getting ready for our comp in the new year. And then in the new year, we're pretty much full competition mode. Yeah. So there's always stuff to do to keep the team organized, for sure.
Yeah.
When we divide the money, we have categories of competitions, costumes, the hotel, rental cars for the one competition we stay overnight at. The competitions get the most just because competition fees are expensive. Then we'll divide it into everybody equally, so everybody gets a fair share of what we fundraised.
Like I would say for your competition fees, you're probably paying $100 per dance. So I'm doing 10 dances. So I'll probably be paying $1,000 in entry fees for our competitions this year.
And that's not
just the competition fees.
That's just so we can go and do the dances on stage and get judged. That's it. There's also
costume fees,
which are probably
$200.
Yeah, it's also.
But those ones we try to contribute our fundraising costs to things like that, like costumes. So it might not be as much, but entry fees, normally fundraising can't, nothing can get put towards that. So we all have to pay for that, yourself.
The executive team works around the clock to help offset the costs for the team, which includes many different fundraising events.
My name is Maddie. I am the head of fundraising for the UW dance team, which means that I plan and organize fundraising events throughout the year to help assist us with the costs of running our club. This year, the school has running an approval process for our fundraising events. So before we run a fundraising event, we have to ask the school for approval. And the school doesn't seem to like a lot of what fundraisers we were doing in the past. They don't really want us to sell food items, and they don't want us to have events on campus. Both of those are mainly because of COVID, which is also making fundraising more difficult. But the school isn't very clear about what the set rules and regulations are, so it's hard to plan around what they want. Tomorrow we will be hosting a fundraiser at In Motion Dance Studio in Kitchener. We will be teaching a workshop there to their students age 11 to 17. We're going to be teaching 3 classes, each for 3 age groups.
We basically just come up with a short combo and we just teach the kids. It's really good exposure for us because some people might want to be dance teachers when they're older, so they're able to actually teach the choreo and also come up with choreography and kind of get that experience teaching and everything. But then also it's great for the kids because they get something new and they get us to come in and dance and teach them. So it's a good
very reciprocal kind of.
And it's honestly, it's very fun because we get to dance, they get to dance, we get to teach them, they get to learn. It's a good,
little bit of money.
You get a little bit of money from it. Yeah, it's a good fundraiser.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So we looked into doing varsity, but dance isn't listed technically as a sport under the OUA guidelines, so we weren't allowed to be a varsity team.
Interestingly, figure skating is listed.
And dance isn't.
And dance isn't.
Gymnastics, yeah.
So it's we're not really sure where that line was drawn,
Yeah.
but somehow that is the defining factor as to why we can't be a varsity team, even though we're practicing and competing and representing the school and buying the merch to do so,
Yeah.
just like all the other teams. So that's been something that's been a challenge for us and that we've been trying to make happen during
Yeah.
our time in this position, but it hasn't really
Happened. Yeah.
been possible.
Yeah.
Whether you want to call dance a sport or not, whatever, but we are competitive athletes.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is that dance is marked a little more subjectively
yeah.
at competitions compared to sports. You know, you either win or lose, whereas dance is you get a mark and it depends on your performance and a lot of things.
But again,
But
the way
then
that
again-
we're marked is like the same as figure skating and gymnastics
Exactly.
as
There's
well,
a lot of blurred lines, and
Yeah.
so like I said before, we're not sure why we didn't quite make the cut, you know.
If we're a varsity, then like we'd have to dedicate some of our practice times to like coming up with a routine for like the games and stuff, and then we kind of more have like the school would more have a say in like how we run our things, but then we get everything paid for, which is nice. But then on the other flip side, with being a club, you kind of have like Taylor and I have more autonomy like over the club, and like we kind of have to like we kind of set the guidelines and things like that, and the school isn't as involved in it as they are. There's pros and cons in both. Like you have autonomy, but you have to pay for everything, and then you have not so much autonomy, but then you get everything paid for.
It's a little unfortunate that we can't have a little bit of both,
Yeah,
you know, because that would be ideal. It is nice to kind of run the team the way we do, but it's hard when we have people on the team that are forced to not do as many dances as they would like to because they don't have the money for it, right?
Yeah.
Because we know that going into this, we're gonna have to be paying for this out of pocket.
Yeah, and we always tell people at our beginning of like our team meetings, we always say this is coming out of our own pocket, so like be weary like of how many dances that you take, because like you're gonna have to pay for it.
So it's unfortunate that has to
Yeah.
be a factor, right? Because obviously we're students and we have a lot of other things to worry about financially. So I just wish that wasn't a contributing factor.
Yeah. People could just dance and like not have to worry about the money.
Exactly.
Even after countless hours of fundraising, the team will still fall short of enough to help minimize all costs for their dancers. Although times are tough, they continue to be resilient and persevere.